As the weather is warming up, I thought I would put together a list of some of my favorite summer, spring, warm weather knit patterns. Hey, if you're new here, I am Dawn. This is Tangled Together, where I talk about my knitting hobby as well as being a work from home mom, being a geek, and kind of how all of those things can get tangled together. So if that sounds like the type of stuff that you'd be interested, make sure you're subscribed. So I'm actually working on my first summer project ever, and that is the oolong tank. I am hoping to do a project vlog of it. I've gotten the hem and body, haven't gotten to splitting the sleeves, although I think I have a problem. If you're interested in that, keep an eye out for the vlog, and I'll probably talk about it in whatever video I finish it in, whatever month, that kind of roundup. So yes, the oolong tank is definitely on my list, but let's get into a few others, starting with tank tops. So all of the tank top patterns that I've kind of pulled out are patterns that I think look bra friendly. As somebody who has medium to larger chest size, I need to wear a bra. I can't get away with just nipple covers or something like that for my comfort level. And I generally don't like to have my bra straps really showing a lot. If it peeks out a little bit on the sides or on the neckline, that's fine. But I don't love spaghetti strap tops or anything like that where it's yeah, you're gonna see the bra strap unless you can pull off a no bra look or a strapless bra, which I'm also somebody who does not find strapless bras comfortable at all. Okay, so starting off with the first pattern besides the oolong tank, I'm going to talk about the seagrass tank. So this is a nice more of, I'd say, sleeveless top than necessarily maybe a tank. Maybe that's a better categorization for this group. It's sleeveless and tanks. And yeah, it's a simple stockinette over most of it, but it does have this nice lace detail along the armholes, and I think it continues down the side. Looking at a couple of these, yeah, it does continue all the way down the side. And yeah, this is knit in fingering weight. It's suggested in a flax fingering, so a very summer friendly yarn, but I think you could do just about any kind of fingering weight and be fine with it. It has a nice kind of drape loose fit to it. It is worked top down. I tend to be a top down preferred person. I like to try things on. I think that might be what I'm running into as a problem with the oolong tanks. I'm a little nervous I've picked the wrong size. And yeah, looking at a bunch of the projects, there have actually been a couple people who didn't do the lace pattern in there. So you could use this just as a very simple tank, but I like the lace pattern because for me, I wear a lot of tanks. This is actually one of the few times I'm not. And I can easily get just plain solid fabric tank. So having some form of lace or something in it, whether it's how exactly it's constructed or the way that it's made up, that to me makes it look a little bit more like this is something I made and not just something that I bought in a store. Okay, so speaking of a pattern that looks a little bit more like maybe you could just have picked it up in the store is the Thea top. Again, this is a very nice, wide shouldered tank. Looks like you could very easily wear it with something. Stockinette, it does have this nice, is that 1x1 along the neck hole and arm. I like that it's a little bit of a lower neckline. I don't know, it has a little bit, I think it's going to be a little bit cooler in the summer. There's a little bit of a more feminine vibe, I think, with the slightly lower neckline, but it's not a deep neckline. And I think making this, again, this is actually in worsted. So this is going to knit up very quickly. I would definitely do this in some kind of summery yarn, not in a wool, or if I did do a wool, it would be a wool blend, because especially as the worsted, that's going to just be heavier, so pick something that's definitely going to have some nice drape and breadth and like breathability to it. The armholes look like they might come down a little bit low is the only thing that I'm a little hesitant on, but I really like this, and especially as a worsted, I think that's going to knit up really quickly. Okay, so getting even more of a like deeper neckline is the moon column shirt. And this has what looks to be like a 2x2 ribbing along the edge. Again, very simple stockinette. But I like that like deep like O neckline. This is again a worsted, so this is going to net out pretty quickly. I actually was thinking about maybe using the yarn that I'm using for the oolong tank and holding it double to make the moon column shirt, but I decided I wanted to use the like hand-dyed yarn in something with a little bit of texture. But yeah, I think I love the pictures of the main one. I think it looks like maybe it's in a hand-dyed. There's a slight variation in the yarn. Yeah, I think in a like really nice solid color, I think that could look really, really nice, really show off some nice yarn. Okay, now if you don't want like an O neckline and you're looking for something that's more of a V neckline, I really, really like the Avani shirt. This is a fingering weight, so I think this might actually lend itself a little bit more to some hot weather. And I just love the V-neck on it. It's got these nice wide shoulders, as well as an I-cord along all of the edging. It just looks so polished, but also I think the like I-cord edging to it, to me, gives it a little bit more of like, this is something that I knit and not just something I picked up at the store. I could see this being a very like, depending on the yarn choice, it could be a little bit of a dressier top. I do like some more like classic simple lines, and I think I'm definitely going to knit this up at some point. For something that has maybe a little less of a like tank feel and more of a vest type feel, I really like the Rhea shirt V-neck. This has this nice V-neck. It's got this 1x1 ribbing along it. I think this could be something that you could like layer, but also looks great just on its own. This is made in a sport weight, so it's going to knit up a little bit faster than some of those fingering weights. And I really like the look of this. It looks like a really pretty shirt. Okay, so I know that was a lot of stockinette. So my last one in the kind of tank sleeveless category is the twist loop tee. I love this top. It's got this like really high neckline, a little bit more of like a scoop in the armholes, which may be a little tricky with some bras. Like I feel like you kind of need to wear like a crossbody bra with this, but it's got this really nice all over ribbing and then this one set of this cable that goes down the center that is just so classy looking. I think this could be a great dress up, dress down top. I think it would look really, really nice, like layered under a blazer for some of the cooler months, or even under like a cardigan or button down, like maybe not a shirt, but like under a cardigan or jacket. It's knit up in a fingering. What is the yarn suggestion? So the yarn suggestion is a cashmere merino blend. I do think, especially with this being, it looks a little bit more of like a fitting and with the ribbing and stuff like that, I think knitting this in some kind of wool combo or not using just purely plant-based yarn would be good to help like hold its shape and kind of spring back a little bit. I think like if you knit this in fully cotton, it's going to kind of pull out and not shrink back up. But I just love this. I would love to knit this up. In the pictures, they've got like the main picture is this gray, but they also have this really pretty blue. And I think, I don't know if I would want to knit this in more of like a neutral, so it could kind of like go with a bunch of different things, or do it in a very like statement color. I think I would rather do a statement color because I think that would go better in my wardrobe. But I love this pattern. I think it's a really pretty, dressy tank top. Okay, so now let's move on to t-shirts. First one we're going to talk about is the Poet Tank. I love this pattern. I'm really considering picking up some yarn to try and maybe make this summer, because I do think, depending on the yarn, it would work as a good like summer, but also into like fall and spring type top. It's got this gorgeous all over lace. It's a raglan, which I've starting to find that I think I prefer raglans. And it does, even though it does have this all over lace, I think the lace is kind of both busy enough, but also not like too lacy that you could wear it on its own and not need to worry about like layering something underneath. Like I would wear maybe a little bit more of a like sports bra type thing, to have a little bit of like modesty underneath. But I do think you can wear this very easily without needing to wear like a tank top or a vest or something underneath it. A different tee that you wouldn't have to worry about, like, oh, is it going to be lacy at all, is the Isono. This is a free pattern because the designer recently put all of her patterns up on Ravelry for free, so yay. It is a drop shoulder design. It's this very like boxy, loose fitting, but it's got this all over texture that is really nice. It is knit up in a sport weight. Okay, so yes, the Isono, I really like this pattern. I like the drapiness of it. It looks like it'd be very comfortable, but I do like that it's got this like all over texture to it, so it's not just stockinette, it's gonna hold some interest. And yeah, I was really thinking about making this, but I think the yarn would maybe look better in the Dido pattern. Instead, that's also a great pattern, I think. Something else that's going to have a little bit of texture is the Anchor Summer Shirt. It's got this nice, like, fairly simple texture along the collar to add a little bit of visual interest. You know, it's petite knit. It's been knit a lot. It's knit in a DK weight, so it's going to knit up maybe a little bit faster than like a fingering and sport. Looking at the kind of fabric you're doing, it's got this texture to it, but the rest of it is just stockinette. I think it's going to be probably something that works fairly well in a number of different kinds of yarn. So like wools, but also some more summer-friendly fibers like cotton and linen. Okay, speaking of some more like texture, but also a little bit of lace, the Oran top is gorgeous. I was really trying to decide on making this, but I think just the fit for me might not. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant on trying to get the fit with the kind of circular yoke and the kind of yarn that I had and was considering using for this. But I do kind of want to make this at some point just gorgeous. The detail in it, I do like that it's got this like nice open circular yoke. I would actually maybe do the sleeves a little bit shorter, kind of end them like instead of having a gap between the yoke and then the ribbing for the sleeve, just like go from the yoke into the ribbing for the sleeve. And that may also be just a little too short. Maybe that's something to like look through some of the project pages and see if anybody else has done it and what I think about that. But just gorgeous. This does to me read as a little bit more of a dressier, like special top. But I mean, how great would it be wearing this and like so clear, like, yes, I made this. Look at this. It's gorgeous. So if you are also a crocheter, I really like the Getty tee. It's got these 2 granny squares on each shoulder, so 4 granny squares in total. And then the rest is just stockinette with a 2x1. It looks like 2x1, maybe 2x2. Ribbing along this V neckline and the sleeves and the bottom hem. But you know, I love the project photos for this, just with this very like simple gray yarn for the majority of it, but having these fun bright pops of color with the granny squares. it's really cool, really unique, and like definitely another piece that like if you make it, it looks like something that you made, but also has like this nice polish to it. That I'm usually I got into knitting because I wanted to make more clothing items, and I didn't really love the way a lot of crocheted clothing items looked. And maybe that was also the yarn I was working with, because it was before I understood like fiber importance. But I really, really like the touch of the granny squares in here. And you could probably also like do it with any kind of granny square. So probably even customize it a little bit more. Okay, so if you want something that's a little bit more of like a relaxed, but has a little bit of texture and interest, but maybe you don't want anything up along the neckline, like you want to be able to make sure like your bra's not peeking through. I like the violet for this. It's got the texture down at the base, and it does look like it's kind of a little bit of a cropped fit. It's this boxy tee, so it's going to be like loose and airy. This is knit in a fingering weight. I like the details on this, and yeah, that little bit of lace down at the bottom of the hem adds a little bit of visual interest. The pictures of this shows it with a skirt. I think, you know, great for throwing on over a skirt or dress, or I could also see it looking really great with like a pair of high-waisted pants or shorts. Okay, so another loose boxy, but with a very different pattern looking, and that's the Hatsuki. This is this really great, kind of like square, it looks like, that you are making. But it has this very interesting asymmetrical leaf design to it, as well as a little bit of ribbing, very, very wide ribbing. I don't even know if I'd call that ribbing. But yeah, I love the leaf patterns to this, to add this like visual interest. I like that it's asymmetrical as well. That's interesting. And I think especially with the boxy fit of it, like if it was symmetrical and a boxy fit, I don't think that would work. But the fact that it's this so oversized boxy fit with the asymmetrical is just this gorgeous statement piece that also looks like it's going to be like very loose and airy, perfect for summer. And this is also knit up in a fingering weight. And the final category I have are slipovers and other. So there's kind of like a mixture of like a couple of like longer sleeve things that I think would work really great as like throw it on in the evening, or like a slightly windy, chilly day, to have a little bit of layering to it for the couple of times. We don't have a whole lot of those like cold evenings, but I know a lot of places will be like warm during the day, but it does get a little bit brisk at night, and you want something to be able to throw on. Okay, so the first one is the lacy loop tee. I've been seeing this kind of popping up all over the place. This is a fingering. It's a very oversized tee, but I kind of put this in the other because for me, this looks like much more of a layering. You could probably wear it on its own, but I would probably layer this over something, and it looks like, again, that like nice maybe beach kind of cover, throw it on in the evening type thing. Another shirt that I think would work a little bit more as a layering piece because it is a little bit more lacy is the Stromboli. I was actually planning on making this, but didn't have enough of the yarn that I was going to making it in to do the whole thing. So that's why I'm making the Ulan tank with it. I love the texture, the all over lace of this. It looks like it creates such this nice drapey fabric. It's fingering weight, so it is going to take a while to knit up, but just really like this for something that's going to kind of add a little bit of coverage, but with the lace, it's going to be very breathable, I think. Okay, if you want something that's a little bit more like throw it on in the evening and stay warm, I really like the Oleander. Again, an all over lace. This features a ribbed V-neck that gorgeous how it combines with the lace. It is a sport weight, so it's going to knit up a little bit faster than those fingering weights, but it is a long sleeve pattern. So, you know, you could knit this as a sweater that you just kind of wear whenever, but I think it would work really great for those like spring, fall, even summer, where it is a little bit chillier and you need something to throw on. Like, hey, you're working in an office and it's freezing and you want something to throw on and warm you up a little bit, but still feel more summery. Going into the slipovers, I like the Aba vest. This is a V-neck, but it's a little bit of a higher V-neck. It is a vest, but I feel like you could wear it on its own. Knit up in a DK, so it's going to knit up pretty quickly, but because it is this all over lace, I think that's going to help make it a little bit more breathable for summer, especially depending on the yarn you use. Okay, now this is one that I don't know if I would actually knit it for myself, but I could see a lot of people really liking it. Like it's a very specific style that I don't know if I could pull off. But it is the agave. It's this gorgeous, very kind of loose, like open fabric with this lace detail that goes down the side, asymmetrical, very loose, boxy kind of fit, but because of the lace and the drape of the fabric, it just looks like such a great layering piece. Does look like something you definitely need to have underneath it. It's actually a worsted weight yarn is what it suggests. But it is a linen, so that's the suggested fiber content. Again, the final is another slip over, and this is the Silly Cele slip over that I like that it's got this all over kind of texture that has, like, it looks like to me like a wave. So I can see, depending especially on the color you choose, it feeling very summer beachy. It's a worsted weight, so it's going to knit up pretty quickly. And depending on the yarn choice you make, I think that could make it a summer top or not, or like not going to be as breathable as some other ones, but depending on your climate, maybe something that would work well for you. So those are some of the summer warm weather patterns that I'm loving and thinking of potentially working on this summer. I'm currently working on the oleander, and I have plans to make the Dido top, possibly also the poet top, poet t-shirt. Yes. What of these patterns would you knit up? Have you made any of them? I would love to know if you have. Like, how did it go for you? Is there anything I should keep in mind if I want to make them? And yeah, what are your summer knitting plans? Do you already have plans, or are you watching a bunch of these to try and get ideas? Because, like, I have definitely done that. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!